All right, so now we're gonna work our way out of the room. You see we got still a little bit to bite off here, but Bob can talk about what he's gonna do on the cutting in. You'll see that we got a tape line at the door so that we can pull a dry line if we need to. We got a paint pan set up out there for our applicator if we need some place to set it, and we'll get this finished out.
All right, so we got a closet here, so I'm gonna start cutting in and work my way up, but I'm not gonna work my way all the way to the door yet. I don't want to set up too quick, so I don't wanna get too far ahead of Todd. So I'm gonna start going here.
And this all goes back to just the communication is, especially when you're working two guys, you're usually talking the whole time. One maybe telling some stories, but really communicating about the job, seeing what's coming up. I'm gonna hit this first, then I'm gonna go over to here, I'll wait for you right there. That's what it takes to just have a good, successful application when you're working with more than just one guy.
So one thing I'm also doing here is I'm cutting in the closet all by itself first, so that way Todd doesn't have to go back into it. So you wanna make sure you put enough product down. Obviously the cut-in pad is gonna put down less product than the roller would, so just make sure you put enough product down and don't go too thin.
The same as we did earlier, so I'm just gonna pull some of this product from the puddle down here where Bob already cut in, and just make sure I'm going back over that with my roller so that we get the same depth and build, the finish, and that same look. A nice feature of the roller is it doesn't matter which way I go, cross grain with the grain, I'm gonna get that same look and same flow and leveling from the roller no matter what. And then at this point, again, what I can do is come in where he cut in, right? So I give it that same roller look. Then he's gonna give me just a little more finish there in case I need some more from my puddle. And then I can start working this kind of both ways. So I'm gonna be pulling the finish down, doing my feathering at the end, and then I can reach in and pull it back this way as well. And then if you have any doubt or concern on, hey, did I feather that out there good enough? You can always go back and do some more feathering strokes just to make sure you got a good feather out into the field. I'm not as concerned being in the closet that everything's getting feathered out in the back of the closet, so I can always pull my finish back down this way, make sure it gets worked out good, go back and finish my feather. Make sure everything's covered. Go back and finish my feather. Then we'll just continue that coming down the floor. Again, you notice I'm still leading with the heavier part of the roller, and I can come down here again and get where Bob. Again, it's the closet. It's not gonna make that much of a difference if it's got a little bit of a different look between the roller and the cut-in pad, but I always wanna get everywhere that I can to even things out if needed. And if I think I've got a little bit of a heavy mark, I can always roll further out into the floor. And then when we get to the end, it's gonna be, up to us to decide what we wanna do. Do we want to finish with the roller? Do we want to finish with the cut-in pad? There's usually going to be a little bit of each. Again, we know the roller, because of the pattern that it leaves in the floor, and it leaves us a little nicer, heavier coat of finish. I want to always finish with that if I can, but if there's some other areas that are, a little tighter, a little smaller detail areas, we may want to reach back with our cut-in pad and get those if need be. So we may actually want to set the roller down real quick. Just make sure we get back in here. Back into all the corners along our tape line here. Finish out. And I'll always want to pull my tape right away if I'm taping off. If I pull a dry line, if I'm just taking my cut-in pad and running it down, obviously I don't have any tape up there, but by pulling the tape, it's going to let that finish kind of flow over to the side and not give me a rough, an edge because of where it butted up against the tape. So pull your tape right away, and that's how you work your way out of a room.